My name is Umair Haq, and I am going to be your host today. I'm really excited. We are bringing another amazing property tour. As you guys may or may not know, we are a local and national group of real estate investors that get together both in person and online multiple times a week. We host these property tours highlighting and showcasing investors doing deals. We love the fact that we are a group that is in the doing. So, with that being said, let me see where people are joining us from. So let me just go down the chat box real quick. We got people in Rehoboth Beach. Hello, Michigan. There we go. Janika in Richmond, Justin in Dallas, Lynn Anthony, Sterling, Virginia. I'm in Northern Virginia. Awesome. New Jersey's in the house. ATL, Amanda, Bermonton. Hope I said that right. Tucson, Arizona. We know you're in the house representing. Okay, awesome, guys. We've got a lot of amazing things to share and not so much time. Before we get started, we want to let you know we're hosting this property tour. And right after this meeting, if you'd like to learn more about our real estate investing ecosystems and how you can plug into the powerful resources and tools, I am going to be doing an additional real estate investing training starting at noon. So, with that being said, you are invited. Okay, guys. So, I'm really excited to hear about our featured speaker, our featured team of investors today, being represented by Corrie. And Corrie, your last name is pronounced Bahar. Am I saying that right?
Correct. Yep,
Hey,
absolutely correct.
I don't know if I was ruining it or not. Okay, so awesome. Okay, guys. So Corrie and Rona.
Rona, correct.
Yep. They started and they did this project together. So what we want to start off by doing, guys, is Corrie, why don't you just start us off by sharing your story, a little bit about yourself and how, what even inspired you to get started in investing or working with our ecosystem in our group?
So my husband and I have been unintentional investors for many, many years, thanks to the crash, back in 08, 09. We unintentionally had some properties we couldn't do anything with, ended up losing a crap ton of money overall with those properties. Um, Always found our circle gravitating towards people who were investing in real estate, whether they were landlords or people who were fixing and flipping properties. Just organically, our circle included those types of people. And as we moved across the country for his job from Michigan to Pennsylvania, Indiana, and now Arizona, we we've still continued to gravitate towards those types of people, unbeknowing that that's who they were, until you get to know them better. So they were all working on that passive income side. And in 2018, we found the community and the education, and we were like, okay, pause the brakes a second. What's going on here? Why is this different? Why are the people so successful when we have been struggling immensely?
Yeah.
And as we dug in a little bit more and we joined the community wholeheartedly with, all the ambition and excitement and expectations. And we took off like a rocket at first. Our first deal was supposed to be a fix and flip, ended up being a wholesale. And from there, we moved into getting a couple of rentals. COVID hit. That was fun. So, as everything took off after COVID, we sold the rentals, started fix and flip again. And COVID struggles with materials and delays. We hit some roadblocks. We had some stumbling going on, and we've just trying to wrap up projects that we've had on the books for far, far, far too long. And this opportunity came up, and we're like, okay, it's a fresh start. Um, it's time for us to dig our heels in again and and go back with intention. And that's where we're
So
at today.
yeah, so I mean, you just said so much there, right? So let's backtrack just a little bit because I'm curious, right? You got me so curious. So your husband were traveling from place to place, and you were organically building your circle of friends, and you were just attracted to these people that have a growth mindset. And so you stumbled upon our community and you just started taking off doing deals, right? But let's
Yep.
talk a little bit about, and this is what people don't get, right? Most people start doing real estate investing part-time with a W-2 or sometimes two W-2 jobs. Both husband
Hmm.
and wives work. So most people start part-time until you start making a ton of money in this game, right? So just because you have a full-time job, just because you have children, you don't want to let that stand in your way of building wealth and creating the lifestyle that you ultimately want for yourself. So I'm really proud to hear that you guys just keep pushing forward. I hear the passion. Okay. And so is your husband is still working? Are you working as well?
No, this is my full-time gig.
Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he is still working um, for the next couple of years.
Okay.
He keeps moving the target on me. He's like, when you can replace my income, he's like, then I'll leave. And I'm like, well, stop moving the target. You
Oh,
know,
well,
you get
that's
those annual raises and it moves the target, But
well, it
but we're
keeps
close. We're getting there.
you elevated and it keeps you growing, right? So
It does.
and you guys are currently in Tucson, and I love the
We
fact
are.
that I have investor communities that are built for locals by locals everywhere. And so you guys are a big part of what we're doing now. So so I love that. And so your husband is working, you're working to retire him. So it's kind of a cool dynamic when you think about
It
it, right?
is.
Like,
Yep.
and so you guys started off, you did some rentals, COVID hit everybody hard, and so we understand with the materials. And now we're in 2023. And can you tell us a little bit more about your personal story? Like were you working at one point and then you decided to take this real estate investing journey on, or were you just,
So I actually got downsized out of my job. I was a personal trainer, and the facility that I was working at got closed, and a very, very limited number of staff got repositioned within the organization. And honestly, out of our like 50 some odd employees, I think they took three and repositioned them within the organization, and everybody else was let go.
wow.
So I tried to do start my own business thing with the personal training and not so successful at that. And this just fit. It just fit for me. When we found the community, it felt like the right place at the right time. It
Yeah.
felt like we were absolutely where we needed to be. And we had some long, hard discussions, family discussions about, what's the future? What are we going to do? And this was our last business venture. And, we had the mindset of it's this or it's nothing. And here we are.
So in other words, you burned the boats. You were like, we're
We
all,
did.
this is
We
what,
went all in. we, yeah, we both feet. We jumped in. Thankfully, we had support from our financial planning team and retirement planning teams. We're closing in on that gap. We're looking at retirement. So yeah, they were like, "This is it. This is where you need to be. This is what you need to do." And thankfully, between their support in giving us that extra push to make that leap and the support of the community and everybody in it are across the country. And when I say across the country, we have literally connected with people in all 50 states. And I can honestly be very thankful that and grateful that we have met so many amazing people and built friendships that are lasting for years and years and years.
isn't that amazing? So relationships is a big thing that have impacted our family and our business working with this group. And I wanted to say something about that. So I love the fact that a lot of people, when they start, they may do deals close to their market. But when I met this group in this ecosystem, I was like, wow, I know that there's cash flow markets across the country, and there's also equity markets across the country. So depending on what my needs are, I may be able to scale and grow just with the relationships. So you hit it on the button there. Okay, so we talked about kind of your background and what you were doing, and it's just crazy how many people get let go of their job, and then they just don't know what to do other than maybe collect unemployment, which we all know is not enough. All right.
No, not at all.
So let's talk a little bit about the deal. Let's share with us how it transpired. I know you have some things, some slides, maybe. Tell me a little bit about
I
how.
do.
Okay.
So a little background on the deal itself is you can see on the flyer there are five people in that little picture.
Oh, let me bring it back up. I wanted
Yeah,
to
you can
see
bring it
you a
back up
little
real
bit.
quick because um, starting left to right, that's my husband, Ron, Rona's husband, Dave, myself, Rona, and that's one of our private money partners on the right. He's a young local kid that is just taken this area by storm on so many fronts. And I'm super excited to be able to work with him and his family as well. We're actually looking forward to our next projects together as a team.
Amazing. So he's your lender helping you get deals done, right? It's like you
He
meet
is.
people through this process.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
So, yeah. So, about the deal, Rona had this under contract and she got stuck basically in a position where she had too many projects on her plate. So she was trying to wholesale the property. And she reached out to me knowing that we're in a position where we're going to start looking for our next project. I walked the project and I was like, oh man, this is way overpriced. I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. Like, and she's like, no, 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 you can do this house for $60,000. And I'm like, oh no. No, no, no,
that
no, no.
interesting?
I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm like, this is $120,000 job. I'm like, it's rough. It is really rough. And long story short, like I wasn't in a position to take on something this rough and run it by myself. She ended up closing on the property, reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'm closing on this property, but we don't have the bandwidth to run it. Do you want to partner with me and you run the deal? We'll take the financials, you take the work, and we'll partner. And that's our agreement. And we have it in writing. We have our JV contract. Everything's legit. We're good to go. And off we went to the races. And yeah, when you see the numbers, we'll show you where we ended up.
Yeah. And what's so interesting is a lot of times people get started just like this example. Like Rona, it seems like she had the time. She got it under contract. She was going to wholesale it, but maybe she got it under contract for more than she needed. And so there was someone to have a conversation with. And ultimately, the person with the time who found the deal and even the finances put the deal together. And then you came in to do operations and you guys landed some collaboration through this community and this group. So that's so awesome to hear that this type of stuff is actually happening. Because what if Rona didn't know you, and what if you weren't there? Like none of this would transpire, and
It wouldn't.
ultimately there wouldn't be another amazing done for you property on the market for a deserving family. So look at
Mhm.
all of the different pieces of the puzzle that have to come together in order to provide value to a group and to an ecosystem. So that was really good. Okay, so let me stop my share because it'd be really nice to see your bright and shiny face. And you're gonna pull up your PowerPoint.
I am. Give me just a second here.
So as she's pulling that up, and okay, she's got it up here. And so as she's bringing this stuff up, this is a fix and flip deal, correct? Some people buy properties, fix them up and hold on to them other times. And we were talking about that a little bit, Corey. Your ultimate plan is to create enough passive income to retire and live off of. And it's important to understand
Absolutely.
the concept of producing big checks with operational income type of deals, and then
Mhm.
taking those checks and portions of the profit and pouring them into your passive income deals, because that's how you really build generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I see where you're at on the trajectory. So let's dive right into it. Take it away.
Okay, so here's our property address. We are using the fix and flip strategy on this property. There we go. So here's our purchase money situation. As you can see, our purchase price was $245,000. We had a hard money loan for 100% financing. However, the lender either gives you a 80% of purchase plus rehab or 100% of purchase and no rehab. So we opted for 100% purchase and no rehab on this one.
Amazing.
Private money, we have raised $135,000 for this project.
Okay, so basically, what I'm hearing is you're in this deal with none of your own money.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
You go, girl. All right.
So here's just a quick picture of the team that you saw on the front. Again, left to right for the people who are popping in here. It's my husband, Ron, Rona's husband, Dave, myself, Rona, and one of our private money partners, Christian. So our timeline, we closed on this property, or Rona closed on this property on May 2nd. We completed the demo on May 28th. We had a couple of delays in there. Rona's husband and sons are the demo team. And unfortunately, her husband had a couple of health issues where he was in the hospital for a couple of days here, a couple of days there. He's doing fine now, but it did delay the demo for us. Our work officially began to reconstruct the house on May 31st, and our work is complete today. The last bits are going on today. I'm so excited, especially as you guys start to see everything that we've done. This is our list of rehab. And as you're looking through this, if you think about your property, if you've never done a fix and flip before, think about all these items that are in your house that you never really consider, and how often people who are taking on a fix and flip strategy don't contemplate or think about all of these areas when they're budgeting, and that can end up in trouble and end them up in trouble. And fortunately, with the support of the community, the education, and the fix and flip strategy classes and the business classes that are there in the essentials, they help us so much to make sure that we're not missing things.
Absolutely. Like
So
when I
I'll
did
give you a second to digest our list because
Oh, I'm looking at it, and let me just give you some comments here. Like when I was doing my first fix and flip, I mean, it was a little bit rough going in because I was so scared. It was something new to me. And when we got done, we ended up making, $43,000 in profit, or I did. But what really helped me through the process was just like I took rehabbing day one and rehabbing in day two. Because when I first got started,
Mhm.
I just didn't understand the mechanics of a house.
Yep,
And so when you first get into it, it could seem scary, but really understanding the different pieces and the organization of the rehab, because it's like sometimes people want to do certain tasks before other tasks, and if you do one before the other, it just messes the rest of the stuff up,
it
right?
does.
So
Yep. And even my partner Rona, I love her and her husband to pieces, but the very first thing they did was, let's lay the tile floors. My tiler's available. I'm like, maybe we should wait on that. And now she's done a lot of flips, a lot of them, but hers are usually a lot more cosmetic. This was she and Dave's first major rehab project. So that's also where I came in to help, is because this is the area that I prefer, is those big rehab projects.
So I'm looking at
Yeah,
your
you
list here,
start.
and it's just like, wow, you added a tankless hot water heater, plumbing, gas lines, new plumbing sewer lines. And so here's a good question that I've got for you. As you were doing this project, did you use a GC or did you act as the GC, general contractor, and did you sub everything out? Because I know that has saved me money in past projects.
So we were very fortunate to come across a GC who helped us out. Also, funny story. Originally, we were using just, like a handyman to do the work, specific jobs. No GC because we weren't doing any major permit pulls. We didn't need to do anything that really required a permit, thankfully, on this house. Like I say gas lines, but it's the gas lines were already existing. We were just moving them from one side of a wall to the other side of the wall, kind of thing. So it wasn't like we were rerunning new lines. And for that, you do need permits and you absolutely need somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
100%. Um, but we got in a situation where we needed some tile and I ran to Home Depot to pick up the tile that we needed. And I'm like, oh crap, this is far more than will fit in my car. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to take this in like a couple of loads. The project was just 2 miles from Home Depot, so it wasn't a big deal. And there happened to be this contractor there and waiting for materials also. And he was like, no, no, no. He's like, it's no problem. He's like, where's your project? I told him, he's like, no, I'll take it over for you. And that's how we met our GC. And he stepped in and picked up the pieces where some using a handyman is not necessarily the best
True.
option or idea, and straightened things out and took over the project and ran it. And from the time he stepped on the project until today, it's 7 weeks.
Amazing. All right.
7 weeks done. So we're pretty excited about that. But yeah, so much work going into this house.
Good stuff. And as guys, as we're hanging out and as we're talking, I want to let you guys know the chat boxes are going to stay open. So if you have some questions for Corey, you can shoot them into that chat box. All right. Awesome.
So, So our rehab expenses to date are $118,236.09. That is a really big number, but it's also a really important number because my partner, if you remember the beginning of the conversation today, my partner said we could do this house for $60,000. And when I walked the property when she was offering it to me as a wholesale, I was like, no, I'm like, this is a $120,000 job. And as you can see, that's pretty much where we're at. Just everything needed touched, inside, outside, everything needed touched. Our utility costs through anticipated utility costs, because obviously we don't know what September bills are going to be, but $471.80 based on what we're seeing right now. And our carrying costs for our lender payments, insurance, taxes, all those fun things through the end of September is $15,466.75, which brings us down to the final numbers. Are you ready for this one, Umair? Drum roll. Uh, so
Oh my goodness. So let's run us through these numbers. All I saw was the number in green. And I'm not even gonna say it because some people are driving, they're not paying attention, they're walking their dogs, but they're gonna want to see this number. All right,
they absolutely are.
let's
So the
start from
purchase price was $265,000. The closing costs on the buy side were 11,602.57. Rehab expenses, carrying costs, and for the interest that we're paying on our mortgage, our hard money loan, and the other interest payments included to our private money lenders and the utilities through September 30 comes out to a total of
that's what you're all
$410,777.21.
in for. You're all in
All
for
in.
410,777 and 21 cents.
Yeah,
Now
absolutely.
let's talk about this projected sales pricing.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Huh?
So this is interesting too. This is a little interesting point. Originally, when we took a look at this property, we were thinking the projected sales price was going to be around 485. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, depends
Fortune.
on which side of this equation you're on, there's no inventory in In Tucson.
There's no
So
inventory anywhere.
inventory, there's no home inventory in Tucson. We have less than 10 days worth of inventory on the market.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are still kind of in that post-COVID no inventory situation here. So because of that, there are many bidding wars going on. This is not a bidding war price. This is the actual projected price, but due to low inventory and due to the location and the level of rehab that we have on this property,
Mm.
the size of the lot, like all these factors, we've spoken to several realtors and they concur. Also, several investors in the area. They also concur that this house should be listed around $650,000. We are actually going to list around 635, so that's our projected sales price. And the net profit on this, if we sell at 635, is $224,000.
That's more than 90% of people make in a year in America on one deal, Corey. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. I'm so excited for you guys. And let me
yeah,
tell you what's most likely
it's
going to happen,
huge.
because I'm in a market where there's a lot of bidding wars, just like where you're at, right? It's just because there's no inventory. No one wants to sell because of the interest rates coming higher. And
Hmm.
so it's causing this mass like pressure of when something comes on the market, there's a bidding war. I'm gonna guess, and I cannot wait to talk to you after this sells, that there's gonna be a bidding war on this deal, and it's gonna go up 50 grand. That's what do you think? If you guys want to guess, like, because I've experienced these markets, and you're gonna end up selling for like 670.
That would be amazing. I mean, we are shocked that it's at this level. We halfway through the project, we adjusted our price, our projected sales price from 485 to 550. We were pretty solid on 550. And as we're coming into the end, and some realtors have been walking the property, they've kind of been following us over the last few weeks. They're like, no, they're like, you gotta bump it. They're like, you gotta bump it. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money. That's a big jump in price. And that was not something we anticipated. But yeah, I'm very excited to see where we settle out. And the realtors that we've been talking with in the community and out of the community, um, just in the Tucson area, are really confident and strong with that projection of 635. And like you, they feel that there may be a bidding war and it may go up. But I'm like, if we get 550, we're good.
Price it.
We're
What I've
golden at
noticed,
550, not 635. I'm
when
like,
you
holy
price it a
crap.
little bit lower, right, it
Hmm.
causes that influx of buyers of coming in. And then it's just natural human psychology where they're going to just be, fighting over it. So
Yeah.
this is amazing.
And
Projected net profit of over $224,000.
Yep. And we're really fortunate with the location of this property too. Tucson, Arizona has the University of Arizona here. This
Mhm.
property is 2 miles from the university, and it's a mile from one of the major teaching hospitals here in Arizona as well.
It's just so
So,
cool to hear just ordinary people doing unordinary things in the real estate investing space in our group. And I'm just so excited for you guys.
yeah,
So
thank you.
now this, even though the profit is so large, I'm sure it's going to be split 50-50. And
Correct.
I think Rona, right? Rona was going to
Rona.
wholesale this, but she's done better by just collaborating and working along with you.
Absolutely. She's very scared by these numbers because, like I said, she's never done a project that's a rehab. Her stuff has always been very cosmetic, so very quick, easy jobs to do.
Yeah.
And this one was quite intense, and she's had a couple of panic attacks over budgets. But we've worked together to find the extra money that we needed and raise that extra capital, and we're in a really good position right now with this property, and it will quite honestly be the biggest profit for either of us to date.
Okay. Very, very cool. And so you guys were just really smart about, plugging in and doing things right. And I tell people it's not just going out and flipping a property. Like there's a process of becoming a real estate investor, right? I say in phase one, you really start learning how the United States tax code works, how to save on taxes, how to set up your business, how to have entity, right? And then after that, it's like, oh wow, okay, now I've got everything set up. Now it's like, okay, then you find a deal. But it's like, oh no, I found a deal. And it's like, instead of just guessing, you opted in to having the process, understanding the system, getting relationships, and those relationships and understanding the process ended up getting you into amazing deals like this. And now I got a feeling if you continue to do what you're doing, your husband's going to be out of a job in no time soon.
I'm hoping, man. I'm really hoping because he's ready to join full time in the business and just ramp it up and get everything situated. And we're ready to start exploring the world like some of our other community members are doing.
I know it's like you gotta, and when we say this, it's all about creating a life by design instead of submitting to a life by default. And that's exactly what you and your family are creating for each other. And I just wanted to touch on one more thing, right? Like a lot of times people say, hey, I just want to flip houses, or hey, I just want to do rentals, or I just want to do wholesaling. But this is a great example of just even understanding. We talk about this idea of becoming a transactional engineer. And I love the fact that Rona went from a wholesale, then because of the relationship, it switched to a fix and flip. Now, if the market were to completely crash, you guys still wouldn't have lost money because as a sophisticated investor, you would always know how to adjust your strategy to make money.
Yep,
And I think that's a
absolutely.
big,
And even if the market were to crash tomorrow, the property value on this, because of all of its features and everything that's been done and the size and the location and all those characteristics, we would still have a sales price on the absolute lowest end of $485,000. So we still have a profit.
yeah. And I see so many novice investors try to get in, do things, they lose money, they get a bad taste in their mouth, and they never come back. And what I try to share with newbies is I'm like, listen, you just cannot afford to not invest in real estate when you start looking at the state of the economy, or you start looking at
Mhm.
people losing their jobs, or you start looking at how the system actually works. And if you want to know more about that, I'm going to be doing an in-depth training right at 12. Awesome. So guys, let me check the chat box here, see if there's some questions that we can answer for you guys. We see super
I'm
awesome.
going to pop through some pictures while you do that, Umair.
Okay, well, well, let's go through those pictures. Yeah.
So this is what it looked like before. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. See this car in the front? It sat there for 3.5 years
Looks like
until
it's
it got
all.
towed away. So a lot of overgrowth, a lot of disaster. You see our pool? Isn't it beautiful?
Oh my gosh, look at that pool.
Aren't you ready to go swimming in there? So it was rough. It was really, really rough. These floors had to come out because of termite damage.
Wow.
Behind these sliding or bifold doors are old leaded glass sliding doors. They're gone.
So yeah, you took those out. And then what about, did you have to bring in like some pest control to get rid of the termites
We
in
did. Yep.
oh, okay.
Yep. We had carpenter ants, we had fire ants, we've had termites on this project. It's been
Wow. You guys were living in Jumanji over here.
fun. So just some pictures you can see the state of disaster this house was in.
Hmm.
This was the garage, and the picture of the sink, I kept that for a reason. This bathroom was 30 inches wide, and it was compartmentalized. You had a sink door, you had a toilet door, and you had a shower. How you take a shower in a 30-inch shower, I have no idea.
No idea.
The sink and the toilet were raised on 10 inches of solid concrete, not even traditionally poured concrete. They basically bought bags of Quikrete and piled it in 10 inches thick. We had to
Mm,
jackhammer all that out.
but that was fun.
So this is the house close to done. Our new roof is being finished up today. Our green door is now orange. It's pumpkin orange. The house, it's hard to see the color exactly with the shadow, but it is um, a green gray with a really dark gray trim and white accents on it. And then these are just some process pictures that we have.
Okay.
Pool being refinished.
Yeah, nice work on the pool.
The kitchen cabinets going in. There we go. That's a much better picture of the colors.
Wow. All right.
That's all cleaned up. The jungle's gone. We had a ratty metal fence to the left of the property that went down halfway down the side. We obviously extended our block wall for privacy and security. And here's some inside shots.
Oh, so much better. And what type of flooring is that you put in there?
So it is tile. It's just porcelain tile that we
Okay.
have in. And the carpet went in the bedrooms yesterday, in the three main bedrooms on this level, not the disaster room
Yeah. I don't know
that
about
has
you,
tile
but
throughout.
I love having carpet under my feet and my bedrooms.
So there's our backyard, all freshened up and ready for the pool to be filled today.
Amazing. So let's check out some of these questions we got. So we got Amanda S. How did the purchase price go from 245 to 265? You want to explain those numbers real quick? Go back up top to your numbers.
It might have just been a typo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a typo. It was
Okay.
265.
Okay. So the purchase price was
Sorry.
265.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
So
all my projections are based on that 265. Sorry
okay.
about that.
So it's the
There we go. Corrected.
265 and then the private money, and that's just private individuals that you raised it from. So you were all in. Go back to your other that one slide that showed the numbers. There it is. So the purchase price is 265. And then we had someone ask, what are the carrying costs? So you want to talk about that a little bit?
So the carrying costs, and you see I have them broken down into two categories. One is utilities, and that's a much, much smaller number. So that's our water, our electric, our gas, the sewer trash, all of your normal household utilities that you have, because we have to have all of those as we're working through the property. We have to have water, we have to have electricity. The guys, and when it's 115 out, really appreciate having air conditioning to work in so they're not dying. We don't want any heat stroke or anything like that. It's no joke. I'm not playing with that. The carrying costs as far as interest are the payments on our hard money loan and the payments to our private money partners.
Absolutely. And so if you're just listening, if you haven't done any deals yet, you might be like, hey, well, how does hard money work? How does private money work? How can I really understand more about the process of driving a project from cradle to grave? How can I really understand all these different things more intimately? And so if you want to get more information on how our group creates real estate investors, you're going to want to be on our next meeting that starts at noon. All right. Because as you can see, just one deal can change your life, really. Can really change your life. I got to tell you guys a quick story, and then we'll continue on. Is when I made $43,000 on my first fix and flip, it's crazy what happens in your psychology. Because like I had $700 in my checking account, and I was like living with my mom and dad. And when the deal was over, the attorney or the title company wired me $43,000. And at the time I was 26 years old. I just didn't know what to do with it. So I blew it all. I just blew it all. I went out dancing and spent my money, but it's like it's just crazy. But I knew that if I could do it once, and if I learned how to do it once, well, couldn't I do it again? Yes. And so that really excited me about learning investing in real estate investing, doing it correctly.
Yep. And to that note, also, Umair, the with this one being Rona and Dave's first rehab, they're now like, okay, where's our next one? Like they have now become comfortable with leveling up the game.
They've got the bug.
You know,
Right?
like yeah, they are. I mean, they've done a ton of little fix and flips, like I said, the cosmetic stuff. But now they're like, okay, it's game on. We're leveling up, we're moving forward. We're not staying down here, you know, in the beginner level, even though we're really successful here, we're ramping it up. Let's go.
Yeah, and hanging out with you and our community has really changed the expectation. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this quote, but it's by Tony Robbins. He goes, "Our lives are a direct reflection of the expectations of our peer groups." And I was like, our lives are a direct reflection of the expectations of our peer group. So now we're just expecting Rona and her husband to do big deals. And that
Mhm.
expectation is going to drive their success along with the education and the community and ways of making extra income. And so this is why I do what I do. Right? And I love the fact that we get to bring people together every Saturday and hear amazing stories like this one today. Okay. Any other questions? Let's check the chat box. Oh, here's another one from Amanda S. Not sure if you explained this already, but can you explain why you went with 100% purchase versus 80% purchase plus 20% rehab?
Because honestly, we didn't have cash on hand for 20%. That's why. So, and when you work on draws from a hard money lender, you have to have that money available for cash out of pocket, and then you get reimbursed with a draw from them. So you spend the money and then you submit all the receipts and you request. And if they approve, then you get what they approve. You may not get what you request. So there can be a financial deficit that you run into, and that can also cause problems and delay projects.
Absolutely. I love it. Let's see, guys. This has been really good. It's really like just the numbers are astonishing, right? And usually like on average, I guess fix and flips, just depending on what's happening in the marketplace, will produce 30, 50, 60, even 100. You're like, "Hey, 100 is great." But this one, you guys just blew it out the park with.
Yeah, it's surprising us as well. Like we did not anticipate this much of a margin. We anticipated about 100,000 maybe,
Okay.
but we definitely did not anticipate this. So right time, right place.
Absolutely. Sometimes timing is key. Now, tell us a little bit as we're gearing towards the end, and we've got to end this meeting a little bit early. So I know we're pushing it because I've got to log in to the other account. Um, for our introductory presentation on our group, what are some final thoughts that you can leave our listeners to, some words of advice, some encouragement, some things that you didn't know before that you now know based off of where you're at on your journey as a real estate investor?
Trust your gut. Um, find your people.
Find your people. I like that one.
Get educated, because if you don't get educated, the world will educate you. And it usually turns out a lot harsher. And I speak from experience. Trying to learn it on your own or piecemeal things together from different sources versus learning from people who've already been there, done that, and you just follow their footsteps. It's a lot easier, you know, to climb that mountain when you know what path to take versus trying to forge it on your own and be the first one up there. And, you know, rely on your community, and not just the real estate community, but your partners within your community where you want to invest, because they know the market. Talk to your lenders, talk to your realtors, build relationships with a title company, like really build your team and have those people ready to rock and roll when you find your opportunity. But building those relationships is huge. And it's what has gotten us to a position of finding projects like this within the community and outside of the community. Just you need to have a network. You need to have a network and your people. Like you've just got to have your people.
Yeah, right. And relationships is such a big piece of the puzzle. And as you start getting things going and in motion, a lot of these professionals will find you deals. Like I've been
Mhm.
building our rental business, and I established a really good a relationship with one of the attorneys in one of the markets that I invest in now. And he literally calls me. He goes, Umair, I've got another one. Do you want to buy it? Because he knows that I'll buy it and help someone own a house where they wouldn't have had the opportunity to own the house because a traditional bank wouldn't finance them. So it's yeah, you're this is absolutely right. And if people can just plug in, stay open, stay coachable, they'll start putting the pieces of the puzzle together for themselves. I love that, guys. Are there any
Absolutely.
last questions that the team, the group, people who are here for the first time, you guys wanted to jump in and ask? We're here to help. We want to see more people win. And we're actively looking for talent, and you might be that talent. We're looking for talent to grow and expand our real estate investor ecosystems all across the country. So maybe you're in an area where we don't have a group. Well, guess what? It's an opportunity for you to build relationships and grow with others. All right, let's see. This is awesome. Awesome. Beautiful house. Cool. All right, everybody. Well, we might cut it short. Corrie, thank you so much for coming out, providing value to us on Saturday. You didn't have to take the time out of your day to do this. And I know that your partners, all of your partners aren't here because they're actually doing, you were telling me about this and we didn't touch on it. So let's talk about it. Your
So my
partner,
partners are not here because they are wrapping up another flip in Marana, which is the most northwest suburb of Tucson. So they have another cosmetic flip that they took on, and that's why they were struggling with this one, was because they had that cosmetic one, and they do a lot of the work themselves because it's simple cosmetic repairs, paint, little things. And it may take them a little while longer, but they enjoy getting their hands dirty on projects like that. And they're wrapping that one up this weekend as well.
a little bit of sweat equity. So they're too busy making money. Luckily, they had Corrie come out, represent, and share the value of what they're all doing together. I mean, wouldn't it just be amazing? I mean, really think about it. They've got different pockets of money that they're creating for themselves, right? You always hear multiple streams of income, but it's like there are so many
Mhm.
streams of income that you can create with just real estate investing, right? It's just one thing. So guys, thank you so much. If you would like to attend our real estate investing ecosystems introductory presentation training done by me, it starts in 12 minutes. What you're going to do is you're going to contact whoever gave you the Zoom meeting for today's property tour and say, hey, get me set up to go to that training. I want to go. All right. Um, Again, thank you for your time. This was really useful information. I look forward to meeting everyone, whether it's online or in person, especially if you're not a part of our real estate investing ecosystem already. I wish you guys nothing but love and respect. Have a great weekend. Corrie, thank you again soon. Bye now.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Cheers to over $200,000 in profit. Go, Corrie.